everybody. Welcome back to my podcast. I am your host, Jada Sharice. More to the story, the podcast. I am with Mr. Lawrence, bringing you part two of Best Friend to Boyfriend. We had such a great turnout for part one, episode 5, so I'm so excited to keep the story going. Baby, would you like to say hello?
What's going on, everybody?
Before I go any further, I have to tell you about an upcoming event that I would love to see you at. I've been asked to be a part of the Millennial Literary and Entrepreneurs Forum. It's July 20th at 1 p.m. It's at the Woodson Regional Library, 95th and Halsted, July 20th at 1 p.m. I will have books available to purchase, so come out. We can get some selfies together. I'll post you on my social media. I would really, really love your support. I'll be sharing my story of becoming a published author, and we have a great panel of entrepreneurs. They'll be sharing their stories and helping you become entrepreneurs. So if you are interested and if you are keeping up with me and following my stories, I would really appreciate if you come out. Please, please come out. I need your support. So in episode 5, we talked about how we got together. We both shared our stories on why we were interested, maybe why we weren't interested at the time. But in episode 6, this episode, we'll be talking about what keeps us together. So you see these couples on Instagram, celebrities, black love pages, whatever it may be. And it looks so amazing on the outside looking in. But Lord knows it is a challenge. Every single day it may be a challenge. And it's not always going to be perfect, but love is in spite of. So tonight we'll be giving you some interesting topics, some feedback, sharing our perspectives on our relationship and our spiritual journey together, which I think is by far the most important part about us. Would you say?
I definitely agree.
Good. So here are some of the things that I think keeps us together. We truly, truly respect each other and we care for each other, and it shows. If you see us out, I've had people tell us, like, I really, can tell that y'all love each other and y'all treat each other good, even by the conversations we have in the elevator, So it really shows, and we don't have to do too much talking about it. We care for each other, and we show that. We try our best to impress each other. We both see each other as the catch, which I think is very important because it's not a one-way street or where one person feels like the other needs them. We both know that we make each other better in ways that makes us cherish what we have. We find new ways to show that and new ways to show that we love each other. We spoil each other. I probably spoil him more than he spoils me.
That's a lie.
Just kidding. But seriously, most importantly, we keep God first. God has always, always been the foundation, even when we were just friends. What would you say keeps us together?
Compliments, expression of love, but let's just stick to the compliments part. Watching you in the bathroom sometimes, put on your eyeliner. Whenever you go out, you might do a dab of makeup here, blush, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know these female products, but it just doesn't stop there. Cooking, cleaning, seeing you spend time with the kids. It's the horizon of the compliments. It goes so far. And you want to always just be thankful, and just not from a physical appearance, because that's not what a relationship does. Like what your wife or your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, whatever they're willing to do for you, you should always be thankful for what they're doing and just giving them compliments if they know how to cook, that is. You know how to cook. So I always compliment you on the food. I do season chicken better than you, though.
I will give you that.
Exactly.
And you make that like once a year.
Stop it.
Chicken alone.
Right.
But that's a good point, compliments. I think that was, really one of your biggest points that you were making, the compliments. And I don't know if that comes from me expressing to you from my past. Like I didn't feel cherished or I wasn't complimented, So do you think that that's where it comes from, or you just complimented me just because I deserve it,
Not at all. I can care less about your past or what somebody else didn't do or did. I'm my own self, my own man. I look at it like...
Say that, King. Okay, go ahead.
I look at it like this. When you trying to get that woman and you realize what she's worth, you'll do whatever is willing to take to get her. And then once you got her, you got to keep her. So if it's expressing your love, complimenting her, or giving her no reason to doubt any past situation that you were in before you guys got together. Those the type of things that you have to always put out there.
Right. What you did to get her is the same things you gotta do to keep her.
Exactly.
So when we met, I know that I was a tough cookie, and I was going through some things and all that good stuff, but I was also at a point where I was looking for someone who was in church, because I was able to get out of the toxic cycle that I was in by going through church. I reached out to my cousin Jazz, and I was just like, help me. What do I need to read in the Bible? What do I need to pray to God about? So I was going to church every Sunday. I was reading the Bible and just trying to find peace. And also at the same time, I was building my relationship with God. So I was looking for that in somebody else. And I was hungry for the word, because in that point, I was just going through that whole process of going to church. And I was looking for somebody who would keep me afloat, like on the high, lifted with me. And I found that in you. But at first, it was just like, you came to the service station at work and we had our conversations, and you told me you go to church every Sunday. In my head, I'm rolling my eyes. Then you told me you read the Bible, and I'm just like, this boy is saying anything to get my attention. And it turned me off, and I was so wrong. And I'm sorry. I know I done said sorry plenty of times, but ladies, this shows you cannot read a closed book. You heard it here first. Jada Charisse, I quote, you cannot read a closed book. Meaning, I didn't know anything about him. And this is similar to, you can't judge a book by its cover. I had to get to know him to know what he was about. I had to get to know him to know what he would bring to the table. I had to understand where he came from and his past and his background. And I didn't do that at first. I was just like, boy, here you go. We got all this in common. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
You were. I know at that time we were younger. I had dreads in my head. The first thing that you seen was a young black male just looking like he from the streets, ain't got no game to himself. But I was always good with like keeping it like that. Like, I liked it to be that person that was judged by his appearance. And not saying my appearance wasn't up to date. It's just, you see a person that working in hospitality or just your job, and you see like, well, he's black, he got dreads, even though you black, but it's just like, oh, he just look like somebody from the streets. And I never knew that you were into church. So when I said that, I read and pray and things like that,
Yeah.
it's like it was never to get you or anything like that. I was just telling you about my life. So I look at it like, I know that you apologize plenty of times for judging me, but that was just me speaking to you in general. It's like, this is what I'm about. If that was something that caught you, then that mean it was meant to catch you.
Okay.
So I just look at it and I smile to myself all the time, like, you ain't have no idea who you was dealing with back then.
Right.
But you see who you're dealing with now.
Yeah. Nobody but God, and I'm glad that we are together. And at the time, you were looking for somebody who was in church, right? You was looking for something different and, something that you wasn't used to. What were you looking for?
Man, and women, we all go through those lonely phases in our lives. It could be 2-3 year just break up, or just you've been single for so long, or you can just got out of a relationship a month or two ago and you just want some type of love. I know that I was looking for somebody that I can just bond with, to be happy with, to talk about everything that I'm going through, that she's going through. But going to church, just not going to church wouldn't did it for me. It's how well you were in the church. Like, I needed someone to help my growth in Christ.
Right.
And like, don't get me wrong, I would never say, oh, you're not at this level. I'm trying to get here, so you can't help me. No, I'm not saying that. But I needed to see somebody that was committed to Christ, not going to church
Right.
because you need to go to church because you was just at the club last night, or whatever the case may have been.
Yeah, and you could go to church, but that don't mean anything. What's your relationship with God?
True.
So I understand where you're coming from. Remember when we were friends, I visited your church and you visited mine, and neither one wanted to go back. I wasn't feeling yours, you wasn't feeling mine.
No, I definitely wasn't feeling your church at all.
Anyway, but it's crazy because when we got together, what became my church home?
My church.
Exactly. I loved your church. I was being spiritually fed, child. I joined and I was even rebaptized. So God was saying, girl, go be with that man at church. And I did. Being in this relationship, it has really elevated me in Christ, and you touched on that too. And finally, I knew that I was in the right place with the right person,
Yes.
So, thinking back, oh man, remember you went MIA? It's not funny. I'm still dealing with that. Y'all, let me tell y'all something. When I tell you those tables turn, those tables, they do turn. I can admit that I was selfish at times. I wanted to always be in control because I wanted to be in control of my emotions. I had been in situationships and I've been hurt, so it's like, no more. So I'm going to do things how I want to do things, but it's not fair to the other person, and, we're going to get into that. But this point here is when Mr. Lawrence realizes his worth and he cut me off. He went MIA. And looking back, I respect him so much for that. At the time, I was heated. You remember we talked after, what was it, like a week or two? It might have been longer. And I think you finally answered the phone or something. And I was just like, where you been? What's the problem? Because you didn't tell me anything. And you was just like, bro, I'm not finna keep doing this. You remember?
I definitely remember. Let's give the viewers a little spill, but not too much of a spill, especially for the new book that's coming out soon.
Speak it.
I know it was a challenge for you. Trying to be with someone that you liked that had kids, and he's showing you every single thing that a person that you wanted. As in, if I was single, and I gave you the time, I gave whenever you called, I answered the phone. I mean, it may not have been at that very, you called and I would call you back in a good time, or you text me, I responded back to your text. So things was a challenge for you. I just want to get the viewers to have a better understanding on why you were, hesitant. Yeah, exactly.
I was scared.
I know. I will also say that it was a challenge for me too. Trying to be with someone who didn't understand where I was coming from. Because mentally, I was saying to myself, like, I'm not on nothing. I ain't messing with my child's people or anything like that. It's like, I'm being real with you, but then here you are holding me back. And it's just like, no.
Why was I holding back? You didn't tell the viewers that part.
You were holding back because you...
Not just because you had kids, but I had just got out of a situation that was terrible, and he had kids.
Which is true.
So I was scarred.
Which is true, but I look at that situation a lot like that wasn't my fault. But you have, at the end of the day, you had every single right to feel that way. As in, like, you want to be hesitant, like, oh, I like this guy. I've been knowing him before. We knew each other before you got into that situation anyway.
Yeah, and you have every right to feel like it wasn't your fault, because it's not, and it wasn't. And I've written about this before, that ladies, we can't blame every man for that one man's mistake. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So it took me a long time, almost 2 years, to be like, okay, give it a try. Because when I found out you had kids, I was just like, no, I just got out of that. I don't trust it. But that's another story. That's another episode. But it's really, really good. And ladies, look, we're going to talk about it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, we definitely going to talk about it. And I'm going to be a part of that conversation too. So I know that it took you a minute to come around. And then you finally came around until we got onto a better level as friends. But the feelings was there. And it was no coming back from those feelings. But I also would just say that what pushed me away from you was just not because of the kids. It was just me. I feel like I'm very discernment. Like I realized certain things. Like I felt at times it wasn't just the kids that were holding you back. It was your own self, as in like you wanted to do other things. And I'm not saying just relationship wise, but you still young. You trying to figure out yourself. Like I don't want to get into a relationship with a guy who has two kids, or because I just got out of one. You had every right to feel that way. But also as a man, we pick up on other things. Well, we should pick up on other things, as in, well, that's just not the case. She still want to be who, she still wants to be herself. And so I'm feeling at the same time, as in like, you know what, that's fine, but just don't lead me on in a way, as in you showing me you love me, or you want to, we go outside, we're holding hands, or you'll give me a kiss on my cheek. Like we had never did anything sexually, anything.
Yeah.
And so when we see, when I'm feeling that way, it could be a woman too in a situation, but it's like when you lead someone one on, and it's like you still not committing. It's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
And so it's just like, we can't be lovers with no title, or we're not, we're grown, like we can't be lovers or not have that relationship where we're not doing anything else. So it's like, what are we doing? So it's like I had to pump the brakes. I had to put up a wall against you because I know how I felt, and then I felt like you were more in control of the situation because I knew you were there, wanted to be in a relationship, but I knew you were holding back too.
Right.
So I had to, you know what, let me start responding back to this text message today. I'll respond back tomorrow or the day after, or that phone call.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. That's a really good point that you made, though, because it was me wanting to be in control of my emotions, in control of our situation, in control of our friendship, and if it would have been a relationship.
Yeah.
But as you said earlier, when we were, at dinner, you was just saying the chase got draining. So it was always you trying to prove yourself. Like, let me show her that I'm for real. Let me show her that she can trust me. Let me show her that I'm different from her past situation that was just before me. Let me show her that I'm not dealing with my kids' people. So it's just like you was always putting work in. And here I am giving, giving, giving. But at the same time, to a certain extent. So I'll give and then I'll pull back. And it's just like, bro, what are we doing?
Yes.
So I definitely understand why you pull back. And I mean, as a man, and you said this earlier, remember you were talking about men and worth, and what was it that you said earlier?
Oh, just a man should know their worth just as much as a woman should know their worth.
Right.
A woman.
That's powerful, baby.
Thank you. Women are so strong and so powerful in so many ways on what women possess. Like without anything, a man is frustrated physically, sexually, mentally. Like women were meant to be on this earth with us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, we gotta know what's our worth in this world too, as in what we carry that a woman needs. A strong man, mentally, physically, someone that can lead them. Like women, it's in their nature to be guided from their man. It's just their nature. And when a woman detects that, she gets caught on to him and she wants that, and then she wants to continue to further on their relationship, and it goes into marriage. But I just think that as a man, that we should always still continue to go about our own situations, as in, listen, this is what I'm bringing to the table. It's either that you're gonna follow it or you're not.
Right. And with women, I've said this before too, we expect a lot, and we want a lot, and most of the time we expect a lot because we've been through things in our past. So moving on to the next situation, no, this is what's gonna happen, or this is what I want, this is how I want to be treated, because we've learned some lessons, we've learned some things, But at the same time, women, you can't ask something from a man that you know that you can't give. So you have to give, and it can be reciprocated. It's just like respect. You give it to receive it. Yeah. So anything that you're asking for from a man, you got to be giving that to him too.
I agree.
Remember when, oh man, I remember I wrote you that text, and I thought that I had it all figured out. I thought I was keeping it real, and I felt good about it. Like, let me just tell him why I don't want to be in a relationship with him, and this is what I want out of life, and X, Y, Z. And next thing I know, well, not even next thing, but a year or so later, I wrote you a 7-page letter. Remember that?
On wanting to be with me.
On why I wanted to be with you.
How the
So
tides turn.
we went from a text message like, no, I think we should just stay friends, blah, blah, blah. This is why I'm talking about a whole long text message. And then things changed, We had certain conversations, and like I said in the last episode, out of nowhere, I just felt like I want to be with him. Like, I'm in love with this man. Like, I do not want to be his best friend anymore. He is everything that I've been wanting in a man. He is perfect. He is ideal to me. So on his birthday in 2017, right? Yes.
You tell me.
Yes, 2017. I wrote him a letter, a 7-page letter. And I decided, you know what, I want to make this official because we were, vibing and everything. And it was like, okay, we started talking about commitment. But of course, he just like, what you talking about? Because you just sent me a text message of why you don't want to be with me. We've been friends this whole time. I know why you hesitant. I know why you holding back. And now you write me a 7-page letter telling me why you want to be with me. But that's why I did it. I knew he was going to be asking, why? Why now? Why you want to be with me? Where is this coming from? So I broke it down very nicely in a 7-page letter. That was part of his birthday gift. And I got you a Bible with your name engraved. I was on the road.
He was.
What did you think about the letter? Can you believe it?
The letter caught me off guard. Everything else, the Bible,
the bookmark.
The bookmark.
Oh, and I got you was it a picture frame or pictures or something that I had? Oh, I got you that photo album of us.
Oh yeah,
that was all of our pictures.
That was very good.
Oh,
you did a lot of research for them pictures.
Yeah, I did. So, what you think about the letter?
When I first read the letter, I said to myself, like, she crazy, like. What's wrong with her? Like, I didn't know where this came from, like these feelings, because we had just fasted from each other. Remember the 30-day fast that we did? And we'll talk about that.
That's coming up next.
Yeah.
There's always more to the story. Go ahead.
But we fasted 30 days from each other. No talking, no texting, no anything. So we got back not cool, but we just got back into talking, but we were all still at a distance from each other. And then in September, it was just like, she wants to be with me. And it was like, she just
be with you forever.
Like, I thought this was just some birthday attention. Like, she just wanted to be around me for my birthday, and she just, I wasn't going. Like, this letter meant everything, but I was not budging. Like, why? Why now? Why not last month, 2 months ago? Like, how did these feelings just come from out of nowhere? Like, something's not right. Something's not. You're not finna trick me. You're not finna bait me in. I'm not going. And this is when I saying, like, as a man, knowing our worth. So it's like I had that wall built up for my feelings. And so it's like there was nothing at that point of time that she could have did to sway me away to feel the way that I used to feel, as in just over the hill, so deeply in love. Every time I seen her, like, oh, there go Jada. Oh, man.
You used to get butterflies.
Like, yeah, I had those little feelings. But at this time, it was just like, when I seen this, like, what's going on? Like, just kept it cordial. Like, yeah, I loved her. But it was never that you could see it in his eyes. Like, she would have to deeply read me to see how I'm feeling. And she still wouldn't get it.
I hated it. I called Tangi like, so you think he gonna want to be with me? I just wrote the letter. He not answering the phone. He being dry on the phone. Do you think he loved me? And she was just like, girl, he loves you. Yes, he want to be with you. And I was like, okay, that's all I needed.
Yeah. Shout out to Tangi for that, because she definitely gave you a lot of inspiration, because you kept coming after that letter like 10 days straight.
So what's up?
Like, what's up?
Are we together?
Are we together now? It was just like,
Are we together? How you feel today? Are we together?
And it was just like, you for real?
So do you want to be with me?
Every night. Nah, not tonight. And we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say we'll talk about it tomorrow, but she was just very persistent.
I got you now.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm. So fasting, you touched on it a little bit. This right here was the breaking point, the moment of no turning back, the moment that started the idea of commitment, for me at least, when we decided to fast. Baby, tell them why we decided to fast and what happened during our fast. What kind of fast was it?
Well, it was a fast of no interaction with each other. No texting, no talking, no seeing each other's, no checking up on each other's, no
Nothing.
social media content as in liking anything. Well, I was off Facebook anyway. I'm always off Facebook. Uh, but just no interaction with one another. And it was a struggle almost like the first week and a half because it was just like, man, I haven't talked to her in a week and a half. It was strange,
Yeah.
but the more I got comfortable with it, and that's why I feel like my wall was already being built, but at the end of the fast, it was cemented where I wanted to be, and we did it because there was a lot of frustration going on, like mixed emotions.
Right.
Saying we love each other every single day, but knowing that we're not together, knowing we're not going home with each other, still, I mean, not still, but never having no sexual conflict with each other or anything like that. Like,
It just didn't seem right. Like,
exactly. It just
what
didn't.
is going on?
Yeah. And we've had our moments, but I would say, like, it's just times where it's just like, no, like pulling back from each other. You know, like we've went out plenty of times, met each other's families, parents, and all these type of things that you would think like, yeah, she loves him. So when we, not to just go a little further, it's just like when our parents or family members sing, it's like, oh yeah, I knew y'all was gonna get together. Like they
Right.
synced it, so it's just like no one can tell us that we wasn't together.
It was definitely an emotional roller coaster. I was going to sleep crying. And I just didn't understand, why am I crying over this man? Why am I crying over my best friend? But it was like, I was sad, but at the same time, I was just so confused. And I was an emotional wreck. Like, I love him. I really do. He treats me so well, even as friends, opening my doors and just pulling out my chairs and just respecting me and walking on the outside of the street, just things that I always wanted. And the conversations we had, the connection we had, it was like we were like magnets when we were around each other. And magnets as in holding hands, you know what I mean? Like, we would just always hold hands, and that was the most that we've done, for a while. But I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do. Why am I so emotional about this man? And I was just like, obviously this not supposed to just be your friend. And I was sad because I didn't know what to do, because I was so afraid. Like, this man has kids. I'm not ready for that responsibility. I want to do this. I want to travel. I want to XYZ. But what God has for you is for you. And I always say that what we have is godly. It is not worldly at all. At all. During the fast, oh my God, it was so hard. It was hard. And you thought that I was going to break the fast at one point, right? You said that before, that you thought I was going to break it. And I had something, child, I had a situation, and it was so bad. And I wanted to call him so bad for his advice and just for comfort and support and his wisdom. And it's like, I couldn't call him, and I told him everything, as friends. So it's just like, that's my go to. And the fact that I couldn't call him. But you said you sensed something was going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it was after the fast where I knew, okay, this is where I want to be. And it might have been like a week or two. We kind of had to get back in the swing of things. And it was a little dry for a little bit. For a little minute, it was dry. And it was kind of awkward. Like, do you still like me? And because you're acting real different. But you said for you, the wall was up. Like, you knew for sure that you were over it? Or...
No, it wasn't that I was over it, but I just wasn't entertaining it.
Really?
Yeah.
And you showed it 100%. Well, 75, 80%, because you would still pull up when I asked you to.
That's not true.
You did pull up.
But that was 2 times, and that was
But
probably
you still
like
pulled
in September
up.
or something like that.
No, that was August when I had got back in town.
Where did you go?
To Arizona.
Wow.
Don't try and argue with me about this. Y'all, this is something personal with Arizona. We'll talk about that next time. But you pulled up is what I'm saying, though. So you was
Next
entertaining and you
question,
still
please.
loved me, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, baby.
Come on.
Okay, okay, I quit. So for you, you wasn't entertaining it. But for me, it was just like, yep, this is it. Like 2 to 3 weeks, and I was like, I want to be with him. I was just like, yep, this is what I want to do. So after the fast, and the fact that I couldn't talk to you every day like I used to, and the fact that the vibe was off a little bit after the fast, those 30 days away from you made me realize that I don't want to spend another day without you. Not another day, another second, another hour, nothing. Even though, you had a tough shell after the fast, I knew that I had a lot to prove. So in the beginning, it was you trying to prove yourself. But at this time, I knew, okay, if you want to be with him, you got to show him that you want to be with him. You got to prove to him that you want to be with him. You got to prove to him that you for real and it's not just a phase, and you're not going to write another text message of why you don't want to be with him. So I knew after the fast that I wanted to be with you forever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. You better hit.
Baby. So we're going to wrap it up. We will always have more to talk about. Our story goes on, and we have grown so much together as individuals, career-wise, spiritually, and we've had a great, great journey, and I know it's going to continue with God, and I'm just super grateful and blessed to have someone like you who I just admire the way you pray over us and for our family, and just the way you lead us, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. So I just thank you so much for always providing and being a man of God. You don't see that often, and I thank you for being who you are and always putting God first.
I appreciate that. It takes a strong woman to back her king up.
Yeah.
With me, there's a lot of tempting that goes on in my mind as far as just like being in the streets like I used to be. We ain't gonna speak on that. But
We
just
rebuke that.
yeah, and just being a better father. Just being supportive to the kids. I really appreciate that they love you very much. Just building that relationship that you didn't have. I know it was a challenge for them and with you.
Right.
So everything continues to grow. So that's what I mean when I was speaking on compliments. Like you watch and you observe things and you just thank you for that. Even though like not saying, oh, that's your job to do it. But if we're together, then you have expectations as well.
Right.
But you have to have expectations on the kids as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like when you see that relationship and your bond growing, it's just like it brings nothing but happy moments and feelings in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
For cooking, cleaning. Man, we know, we do not like cleaning up.
Obviously.
Do not like clean. We clean up how we want to clean up when we want to clean it up.
And
But
it ain't good enough, so it's like we clean up again after y'all. It's just like forget it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You're getting better though, right?
Yeah, because
Are
I do
you?
a lot of laundry.
You've done laundry. Okay. All right.
This is the end.
Y'all,
Let me finish.
thank you. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a great, great, great episode, even going back to episode 5. So, baby, I thank you for sharing your stories and your perspectives and giving feedback. And y'all, he is very, very shy, so I'm so proud of him. And I thank you for opening up and, sharing things with our listeners and those who support us. Would you stop playing? Thank you for being here. House Hill Media, thank you for always hosting. To all of my supporters and those who follow my stories and those who have purchased Brokenness That Made Me Whole, thank you so much. You encourage me. You motivate me. I need you. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for your support. Remember, July 20th at 1 p.m. You can find more information on my social media. Until next time, there's always
more to the story.
Baby.
Wanting to connect with me mentally. It was the questions he asked in return. The time he put in studying me, willing to learn. It was him repeating what I said to get a better understanding and to clarify. It was the effort he put in to get my attention.